Well, hello, and welcome to our brand new series to accompany the new series of Dapple Doctor Who. It's called Behind Dapple Doctor Who. Seemed like a good title. Behind me is David Tennant and Billy Piper. But hey, could be worse. Right, so in this series, what we're going to do is I get a lot of questions on the forum about how the episodes are actually made and sort of what goes in to it. Well, you've just finished watching our season opener, Prediction of the Seer, followed next week by The God of War, and then there's another few stories before we hit the finale, which is very big, very exciting, and very difficult to do. But I'm going to start with the sets, because as you'll have just seen, we have a brand new TARDIS console room set, which was a £500 model built, and we are still having an issue with making the time column go up and down, but hopefully we'll sort that out for future stories. Now, Prediction of the Seer sees Gallifrey under attack from an unknown source. The Seer, the most important person in the universe, who can predict how the Universal War is going to end. Very important. And she keeps saying about, if you listen to our opening piece of dialogue again, you'll sort of get a little taster of what's to come. The Lord President ends by saying that he has a plan.
I hope you are prepared for the day when Gallifrey is...
Let me just say, Castellan, that when that day comes, I have a plan. A plan to save us all, if necessary.
And does he have a plan? Yep, he has a plan to save the universe if necessary. But throughout the story, we see Maria. Now, the thing about the companions is that they're always generally locked in cupboards, or they're just there to say, what is it, Doctor? How are you, Doctor? Why are you doing that, Doctor? But the fact of the matter is that, with the exception of, obviously, Rose, Martha, perhaps even Catherine Tate's character, so the new series has sort of wanted to bring companions, make them a little more creative. Now, I'm all for that. My idea was that this character, Maria from Myzagoria, is actually the last of her race. And so she believes that by joining the Doctor on his travels, that she can go back in time and save her planet. Obviously, she learns the error of her ways. But I thought that was an interesting twist on a companion. I don't think any companion's ever stolen the TARDIS before, and luckily, the Lord President's solution is a time ram, but luckily the Doctor, Maria, changes her mind. Also, the console room, the David Tennant-looking console room, was so badly damaged that he asked Gareth to change it back to the original console room. And I just think it's an interesting take on a companion. The Seer herself also was trying to warn everybody about what's going to happen. And what is going to happen. Well, I wish I could tell you, but all I will say is that next week, the Doctor and Maria visit a museum and are warned about something that's going to happen, and so they go back to ancient Egypt. Now, I have had a few things. Is Sutekh the villain? No, Sutekh is not the villain. He's lost in the time vortex somewhere, and that's where I intend to keep him. But they do encounter an old villain from the past who is somebody... Each week, you're going to get villains who are all inputting into the Universal War, and each story is shadowed by this, but it's not sort of the main core of the story. So that's what's going to happen next week. I'm sure you saw the trailers. We put together a Prediction of the Seer trailer and a major Series 3 trailer. Now, as I sit right now, in one of the stories, I think we're up to story 4 at the moment, which is currently in post-production. Story 5 has been filmed and everything is in post-production. And the finale has been written and hasn't been filmed yet. And it's because it's quite a complicated thing to film, and it's going to take a good couple of days to film it, I think. But you can be rest assured that this is going to be a big, big deal. The sets for Prediction of the Seer were largely just made out of bits and pieces. Well, I generally tend to do that. But as we go on, the sets are more detailed. And that is probably all I can tell you. Coming up in this series, we have an exclusive video from M. Justin Parsons, who's written the 4th story. We have Rex Dewey. He's going to give a really great insight into how we do all the sounds and how we do all the voices and how we record them and how he works. We've also got one coming up from Simon Ockington, who'll do something similar. He talks through a lot of voice things with us, and I'm going to take you through how we do the editing and special effects. So that's what you've got coming up on this series. So keep watching. And as I'm sure some of you have noticed, we have had some copyright issues with the BBC, hence the reason why the title sequence has been shortened. But actually, I don't think it really makes any difference. But there you go. Copyright is copyright, so we have to respect that. So all being well, we'll see you next time on Behind Dapple Doctor Who, which will be after the God of War.